The NFL is filled with some of the most talented athletes in the entire world. As a result of this, it should come as no surprise that there are seemingly impossible plays made in almost every game if you look closely enough.
Russell in the pocket. Russell for Kearse, and it's broken up.
But today, we're going to take a look at some of the craziest plays in history, covering a list of NFL players that left fans completely speechless. Welcome to American Baller, where we focus on all things NFL. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell for future videos. 1. Saquon Barkley's backwards hurdle. We don't have to go back far for our first play on this list, coming in a Week 9 matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Jacksonville Jaguars. This looked like a very typical play with Jalen Hurts hitting Saquon Barkley on a dump-off pass. However, while Barkley just needed 6 yards to pick up a first down, he went to work. He easily shook off the first Jacksonville defender before hitting a second with a spin move that sent the potential tackler to the ground. The craziest part of this play, and what earned it a spot on this list, came just a split second later. While still finishing off his spin, Barkley somehow sensed another Jaguar standing in front of him. He then did the impossible, jumping over his opponent while he had his back turned to him. This was potentially the first time in NFL history that someone was able to pull off a backwards hurdle, not to mention after making 2 players miss earlier in the play. This will no doubt go on to be the best play of the 2024 season, and maybe even one of the best plays of all time. While it only went for around 15 yards, this was still a once-in-a-lifetime display of pure athleticism. Following the matchup, Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni said he was left speechless watching the play on the sidelines, going on to say, "It was the best play I've ever seen. I believe he's the only one in the world that can do that. I'm speechless. It was unbelievable." Teammate Devontae Smith described the play as crazy, going on to say, "I ain't never seen nothing like it." This was such a seemingly impossible play that EA developers scrambled to make it a possibility to do in Madden. Pulling off a highlight before it can even be done in a video game speaks volumes of just how insane this play from Barkley was. 2. Odell Beckham Jr.'s one-handed catch. Our next play keeps us in the NFC East, going back to the 2014 season when the New York Giants took on the Dallas Cowboys. In the first play of the second quarter, Eli Manning launched an over 50-yard bomb to the end zone, targeting then rookie wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. Despite being held by a Cowboys defensive back, Odell was able to fight through the contact and make a ridiculous one-handed catch while falling to the ground. In no world should this catch have been possible, not to mention that he drew a pass interference call as well. This was the play that put Beckham Jr. on the map and quickly established him as one of the biggest wide receivers in the league in only his rookie season. You cannot mention Odell without this play coming to mind, and there's a good reason behind that. This was arguably the best catch in NFL history. Chris Collinsworth recounted what it was like seeing this play in real time from the booth, saying, "There's always something about the original, and it was the first time I had seen something like that. These guys are 6'4", 225 pounds, and they run 4.3s. It's just insane what they're able to do, so I try not to get so freaked out about it anymore. But yeah, when it happened, I thought his catch was the best thing I'd ever seen." When discussing the catch years later, Beckham Jr. said, "Not really the best double move or anything like that. I just remember it was one-on-one and I thought I was going to score a touchdown, not knowing this was going to happen. It was going to be a moment. I just seen the ball up in the air rotating a certain way that I had seen. I felt as if I had been in this moment before. I just reached up and I was like, man, I finally got that one-handed catch I'd been waiting for. And during the time, I never knew it was going to be the moment that it ended up being." While we've seen countless receivers make one-handed catches, this play was simply different. ESPN went as far as to do a sports science segment on the play where they uncovered that Beckham Jr. had only a 0.16-second window of opportunity. There's a strong chance that we'll never see such a difficult catch like this made again, and this is a play that'll go on to stand the test of time, being a mainstay on highlight reels for decades to come. 3. The helmet catch. We'll stay with the New York Giants for this next play, going back to their Super Bowl matchup against an undefeated New England Patriots team. The helmet catch was a crucial play in what would go on to be the game-winning drive in Super Bowl 42. Eli Manning once again was the quarterback for this all-time play. Just seconds after dropping back, he immediately felt the pressure of an elite Patriots pass rush. Despite this, he was able to narrowly escape from 3 defenders before delivering a 32-yard pass to wide receiver David Tyree. Tyree made a ridiculous catch in tight coverage, trapping the ball against his helmet. This play not only kept the drive alive for the Giants, but put them in perfect position to take down what at the time seemed like an unbeatable opponent for the Patriots. NFL Films went on to name this as the play of the decade for the 2000s. With it not only being a spectacular catch, but also occurring in such a big moment, this improbable play left the entire NFL world speechless. When reminiscing on the play on its 15th anniversary, Tyree was quoted as saying, "I gotta thank all of those offensive linemen for not blocking anybody, because obviously it was a play breakdown, and at the end of the day, you just get that backyard ball and you gotta make a play, and that's exactly what Eli did. It was just 2 guys making a play, man, and we got some great things done to really shift the momentum." Everybody knew that once that play happened that we were going to win that game. I knew I had it. You go up to high point the ball and I knew I got 2 hands on it, but I was mentally prepared for some contact. So when it came, I'm just clutching. I don't know where the ball is, I just remember securing the ball with that second hand again, but nothing in my head is saying I just caught it on the side of my helmet. This went on to be a defining play of the 2000s and arguably one of the most notorious plays in Super Bowl history. Not only was Manning able to show superhuman strength in the pocket, shrugging off Patriots D linemen, but Tyree made one of the most insane catches on the league's biggest stage to set up arguably the biggest upset in Super Bowl history. 4. Beastquake. Up next, we'll stick with the playoff matchups, taking a look at an insane play from a postseason matchup between the Seattle Seahawks and New Orleans Saints. As a result of sneaking into the postseason with the losing record, many believed that this was going to be a cakewalk of a win for the Saints. But to the surprise of football fans around the world, Seattle was able to hold their own. With only 3.5 minutes left in the game, the Seahawks found themselves up 34-30 on their own 31-yard line. They were doing their best to leave the Saints with as little time as possible for a potential game-winning drive, but Marshawn Lynch had other plans. This was a prime Marshawn Lynch, one of the toughest running backs in the entire league. There was almost no one in the league who could bring him down one-on-one, and on this play, not even the entire Saints defense was able to slow him down. The play call was a simple run up the middle, and it appeared as if Lynch was going to be stopped for a sizable 5-yard gain. However, he went on to break a total of 9 tackles en route to a 67-yard touchdown. This play not only punched the Seahawks' ticket to the divisional round of the playoffs, but also cemented Lynch as a Seahawks legend. You know that a play is truly special when it earns its own nickname, and this one went on to be deemed Beastquake. When discussing the play, he was quoted as saying, "So we get into the huddle and they call 17 power. I was like, oh my god, I've been trying to get a power for so long. With power, you're running straight downhill. You know where we're coming, and we know where y'all gonna be lined up at, and you just gotta stop me. I'm saying I'm better than you." At the time, I'm thinking, what the hell just happened? Did that really just happen? One of the best defensive linemen of all time, Robert Mathis, said, "That's the greatest run I've ever seen, and that's a bold statement. I put that number 1 against any run." 5. Malcolm Butler's Super Bowl winning interception. Rounding out the list is a play in the Super Bowl that Marshawn Lynch and the Seattle Seahawks were on the wrong side of. This play took place in the 2014 Super Bowl between the Seahawks and the New England Patriots. Seattle found themselves in a perfect position to win their 2nd straight championship. While they still faced a 28-24 deficit with only 26 seconds left in regulation, they had the ball on New England's 1-yard line. With arguably the running back best suited in the league for this situation in Marshawn Lynch, it seemed like a no-brainer that Seattle would run the ball up the gut as many times as it took for him to find the end zone. However, this is far from what happened. Instead, Seattle lined up in shotgun formation and gave their then quarterback Russell Wilson a chance to win the game through the air. But the Seahawks coaching staff got a little too cute with their play calling, and this decision wound up blowing up in their faces. Patriots cornerback Malcolm Butler came out of nowhere and jumped a slant route run by Ricardo Lockett and sealed the game with a miraculous interception. This was the final trip that the Seahawks made to the Super Bowl during their Legion of Boom era. Had the coaching staff made the call to simply run the ball a couple of more times, there's a chance that they could have gone on to be an absolute dynasty through the 2010s. While the joke of the Seahawks not running the ball has been overdone at this point, it has gone a long way in overshadowing just how impressive of a play this was from Butler. He was at the time only a rookie, and only had 14 games under his belt at that point. To step up like this on the league's biggest stage is truly incredible. It appeared as if the Patriots were gonna fall and Seattle was gonna take over as the team to beat. Thank you for tuning in to American Baller. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell for future videos.